Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Mindset Kitchen podcast with your hosts, Chef Hashim and Kareem. Hey bro, what's up? What's happening?
What's going on, bro? All good, working away. Everybody, welcome back to another episode. And as always, my friend, always ready to jump into today's topic. So, what are you cooking for us today, man?
So in the kitchen, a lot of things on the menu, but we decided to take one special dish. One of those special dishes. So today, I think we want to discuss, or we thought of talking about the power of now. Yeah, basically, short disclaimer, or in brackets or whatever. This is not related to the book Power of Now. But me and Kareem, we are talking more about, let's discuss about now in the sense. So, Kareem, what are you thinking? Like, for example, what do you have in mind?
Yeah, it's funny because The Power of Now is technically the title of a very popular book. I'm still keen to read it, but I think The Power of Now just has a meaning in and of itself. So, to me, it's really about, it makes me think of myself and all the times I would prefer to think about the future than to think about what could actually be done right now. Many times we are very good planners and we're also very good worriers. We worry about future, worry about the past. We plan for the future, we reflect on the past. Many times we really take the present moment for granted, as cliche as it sounds. So for me, it's all about trying to figure out, okay, plan for the future, but what can I do right now? How can I make
the best
use of today, which is a blessing.
Yeah. For me, honestly, within the exact same lines. Yeah. So like I was telling, I met somebody this Saturday, this weekend. This person is one of my accountability partners, and because of the COVID and restrictions, 3 months, we could not meet. And the person is in Dubai itself. And somehow I was just sharing with him about the last book which I read was Art of Listening. And I was talking to him about that episode as well. And somehow the discussion went towards this topic about, and so obviously he did not mention the word power of now. How the discussion came about was, beginning of the year, we had set a lot of goals, for people who are listening, you can check out the 5 Fs. So me and Kareem, we discussed a lot about, how we want to plan this year, what are the targets. So we had categorized these goals into 5 different, sections. And so this person who I'm talking about is my accountability partner for these goals as well, because we set these goals together. And so because I was meeting after 3 months, the first thing, after hi, hello, immediately I was like, okay, where are we with these goals? Because we are, it's been 6 months. It's almost half of the year I just passed, because we are in July right now. So this is when, because then I said, what, even though I asked the question, I will go first. So I was telling about how my first 2 months went, how things went really well, like superb, honestly, like everything was like flying, with flying colors, and how towards the 3rd month, slowly things started taking a slump. So basically a lot of the goals, for example, what was planned, even though some of them were completely ticked off, there were a lot of areas, for example, which did not get much attention. Now, naturally, the problem over here, or the challenge that, like you said, Kareem, because now I have these plans. Okay, now the plan was I need to do X, Y, Z. For example, with my freedom goal or with my financial goal, I had to achieve something by, let's say, 3 months, 6 months. And let's imagine for a moment that I did not achieve those goals. In my case, I had 2 areas where I'm way behind. So either what I can do is, and this is what I was having a bit of a challenge, because I was feeling, a lot of anxiety or stress because I'm not achieving that goal. So my accountability partner, he went about and saying, what, there are 2 other areas where I really outperformed. Like what I had set for end of year, I actually achieved within the 5th month. So he started telling me, like, see, this is what we do end of the day. We plan. Our job is to plan. Definitely there should be a plan in place. But let's focus more on what is the need of the moment. Yeah. So coming back to the point, so sometimes putting into context, maybe Kareem, for your startup, for your business, there might be some things that you might have planned. There are some things I might have planned. But end of the day, what has happened to me in the past is because I'm not anywhere close to achieving. Let's say I had a particular target to meet, and because I'm not close to that, I become demotivated. And what happens is the present suffers.
Yes. Yeah. I want to go back a few moments. I'm curious, with your accountability partner, what did he do? What was his goal, if you can share it, and what was his process to get it done in month 5 as opposed to like end of year, which is great, obviously.
Yeah. So compared to mine, he also based his goals on the 5 Fs. Okay. But the difference between my goals and his goals were, this is somebody who's like a super achiever. Okay, he has lot of things in his plate. So what happened ideally was, I think it was very interesting to know that, I was I was the only one. So he went through a very similar journey. Yeah. So what he was telling me is like, in this process, for example, let's say he's somebody who's finished his master's, currently doing his PhD. Yeah. So what happened was, PhD was part of the plan, but it was for a later stage, maybe let's say end of the year maybe. But what happened was, how things developed for him, he had to fast track based on the now. Like, for example, the situation he was in, and various variables. So what he's doing right now is he's focusing on his PhD, and he's trying to finish it earlier than he actually had planned. So what happens, definitely some other plans went on the back burner, but end of the day, when you look at it, it's never, most of the time, there is still progress. So this is the main point, because sometimes what happens, this very famous saying, or not famous saying, it's a very famous thought these days in the age of social media, right? I don't know if this example makes sense. When I travel, there was a time, for example, even if you go on my Instagram highlights, if I go to a country, I would have within a week, I would have easily 100 to 200 stories. Okay, so basically what happens is, everywhere I go, my phone is out, and I just want to document it. And because there are a lot of my friends.
You work for Instagram.
Yeah, literally the reason how I got really motivated, I kept doing it, is people, for example, let's say I was in Thailand, yeah, and I have friends sitting in Dubai in their office or at home. I started putting few stories, and they're like, you know what, please keep this up, because it's like, we are with you there. So
it's like we're with you.
Yeah. So, but what ended up happening, and I realized because in one of the trips, I did not touch my phone. I was off social media completely, which is like the last December trip and the trip before that when I travel alone. And what I realized was, when you're always on your phone trying to capture, you're really not enjoying the moment right there. Yeah. This is one, you are not there.
True.
Now, comparing it to our life and goals or whatever we are. So what happens sometimes is, it's not like everything is bad. Like everything is falling apart in everybody's life. There will be people who will have a lot of challenges, but always there are things that are also which are good, which are positive, which are actually moving ahead. So this is where I think, Kareem, we can start harnessing, or leveraging this power of now, because now the good stuff that's happening, if you focus, this is definitely going to help you. This is what I think. So connecting that example, sometimes it's better to actually live in that movement. See, maybe it sounds like too much of, what you hear on social media, like live now. What I'm trying to get, you get my point, right? Where I'm getting at?
Yeah. That even though it sounds cliche, it really, there is some value in it, and I think, and I think it makes sense. But I think what people are probably wondering right now is, okay, well, I'm here every day. I'm aware of what I need to do every day. But how do we actually connect that with what the power of now really means and the power of today? So do you want to share some light on that?
Yeah. So this goes back to, I think, a lot of topics we have discussed, Kareem, over the past 1 year on the podcast. Yeah. So the power of today, power of now, if you look at it from a perspective of our day-to-day lives, right? So going back, we've discussed this in lead and lag measures. For example, yeah, you have a lag measure, which is your goal, which is a big goal of achieving something big. It could be a promotion.
A wildly important
Yeah,
goal.
it could be whatever, fitness goal, personal goal. But when you connect that, we discussed in lead and lag. So lag is the big goal and lead is the small reps. I think power of now or the power of today is all about those reps.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, this is a way to look at it. So everything that you're doing today, okay, now, okay, in this day, tomorrow, you have control of today, for example. This is, for me, this is the biggest takeaway. So today, now, as we are recording, we have control over this time or this moment, yeah? So I'm able to say all this stuff. So the moment you have in your hand, this is where I think you can do many things, or, maybe you can take that one step. So then the power of now or today, what for me is, it's like that, what do you call, me taking that one step closer to whatever I'm actually planning. And it does not mean that every step has to be, one step higher. Sometimes that means it's not higher. It could be 2 steps backward as well. But still, there is movement. What about you? What do you think?
Man, you got me thinking about something I did today. Today is Monday, right? And which is the start of the week for us. And I did something completely different today. I decided to take all of my calls. It was a sunny day, which is a rare occurrence here in Ireland. So I decided to just go for a walk, by the seaside and all that. And I just made all of my calls audio calls, so I can just take it outside. And I had the most random thought. I was looking at the road next to me, and the wheels of the cars. Okay, and I kept thinking in my mind, imagine if why do the wheels keep? This is gonna sound really stupid, but I'm getting somewhere with this. Why do the wheels keep turning multiple times? Why don't the wheels turn one cycle and then just stop? And then and people complain like, oh well, why is the car not moving? Well, you need to keep doing that same action over and over again. You need to rely on this action over and over again for it to keep moving. Just because the wheel turned fully once, you can't be like, I did my job. I'm a wheel and I turned. That's it. You have to obviously keep it going. And it brings to mind like what we're talking about today with regards to the power of now, because many times, I imagine if the listeners are thinking like what I'm thinking, it would be like, okay, well, I get it. I should start and do something today, but what I was planning and the reason why I wanted to do it next week is because this is just such a big goal, or there's a lot of like steps involved. And you're probably thinking the same thing, bro, but like finding a way to actually break it down into like its smallest step. Sometimes, there's like this technique that people do when they're procrastinating. I think it's called the 10-minute, either the 5-minute or the 10-minute technique, where it's like if you're procrastinating, because sometimes that's what it comes down to. You're procrastinating to do something. Challenge yourself to just do it for 10 minutes, and probably you're going to find yourself already in a state of flow by then, and you'll just carry on well beyond those 10 minutes. And even if you just did 10 minutes and you stopped for some reason, well, at least you're 10 minutes closer, right, to where you need to go. So I think this is actually advice that I'd even give to myself, like sometimes like a lot of the ideas I think of are very complex for no reason, and very ambitious and just very, sophisticated and complex and ambitious for no reason. It's actually something so simple. I just need to dumb it down and break it down to the smallest, almost like most pathetic small step that I could do right now. Anyone could do it in like 5-10 minutes. If I can find that, then that's going to lead me to the next step and the next step. And before I know it, the wheels are turning consistently, right?
I think that's a very interesting example. And, if you think about it, in one, I think this is literally sometimes when you're walking or talking, there are things that we notice. And I think we can pull out life lessons from, like, see today, even from a spinning wheel.
Exactly.
But again, when you were talking about this, definitely one is about that like today, what you're doing today, for example, and how if you keep doing that every day, for example, like it's like lead measure. One other way to look at it also is, Kareem, in our lives, all of us, like majority of us, we all plan. Okay, I'm going back to this whole thing again, but what happens we have a plan and we have a destination, but sometimes there are, let's say, opportunities, or there are some, in some people's lives, there are some calamities, okay? Or sometimes something extraordinary happens. Like, for example, something very good happens. Like this was not at all part of your plan. Okay. Now,
Right.
if you look at this concept as part of your mindset, like if you're actually going to build this as a mindset, just think about it, right? If you are somebody who's always thinking about the now, okay, it might actually open up, because I'm just referencing it back to my experiences. I'm somebody generally who's always open, even though I'm a big fan of planning things. Like you know, I like to plan everything. But the only difference usually is my plans, okay, I have to achieve this, but I'm always open when something new comes. Because I believe every
Open to
day.
changing the plan, you mean?
Not about changing the plan, but I don't mind adding some to the plan. And if the need be to change, because when you are having this part of your mindset, like, you know, when you say the power of now, okay, what is possible today? What are the possibilities today? Okay. And we look at it, okay, you already have something planned, but something that new just comes. Like, I'll give you a good example. Now, every now and then when I read books, like there are few books that actually really, leaves a very heavy impact on me. So this, you're not listening this book, The Art of Listening, that topic. This is a book that had a very, very important, very strong impact on me. Till the extent I finished the book once, I'm listening to it again. So since then, up until April or May of 2021, this is something that I completely did not even think about or bother about. And after I read this book, a new area, like it's like a new dimension is opened up for me. And I want to connect that to this power of now. So what happens is, whenever I'm going out these days, I'm working out a lot on cafes or co-working spaces. So I make it a habit. Okay, I need to dedicate like 30 minutes at least in this 4 or 5 hours I'm sitting, so that I meet somebody new. It could be, if it's a cafe, it could be a person who is working over there, to religiously sit and ask them like questions. Because traditionally what I used to do is I will meet people, they will talk, then I will actually talk for another 15 minutes. They will talk for 7 minutes, I'll talk for 15 minutes. But what I've
double the time.
Yeah. Now what I've done is I've completely changed. I'm like, if the discussion is 15-20 minutes, I have to talk like maybe for 5 minutes. I have to listen. Like ideally when I walk out of there, I should be walking with some new experience or a new story about somebody. Now this really, when I start doing this, I've been doing this for almost 2 weeks now. You really feel like with each person that you're interacting, and some of these people were people I've been meeting for 1 year. Okay. But what I've learned about them is really interesting now. And this really brings it down, like while they're actually telling me something about themselves, that moment, I feel like, this is something I did not know. The only reason is I decided, for example, I want to have this new experiences. And this was, like I said, this was not planned, or this is not at all something that I put in my plan this year, that I need to be a better listener. I don't know if this connects, but this is a thought that actually just came in. Like it's more about that moment or making the best out of that moment.
Exactly. And I think, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I was actually thinking about this again earlier today. I'll tell you something. So yesterday, I dug up one of like my favorite, like kind of like online coaches who put a lot. They're called Brian Johnson. His name is Brian Johnson, and he basically takes a lot of amazing books, and he would create a course based on like 8, 9, 10 books, so that you can just listen to the course. But I've become so obsessed with this topic, I think similar to you, that I read the individual books and then I watch the course anyway, and I know exactly what he's referring to and stuff like that. Anyways, point is, one of the things I've been looking at lately, just yesterday and today morning actually, is called this concept of masterpiece days. How do you make each day a masterpiece? Enough masterpiece days, you have a masterpiece life. He was saying to do some form of a review at the end of every day, to see like what are the things that you liked about the day, what are the things that you would change, and you would obviously like implement that in the day following. And one of the things I was thinking of this is literally like, I literally thought of this like maybe an hour or two ago, is how cool would it be is if every day at lunchtime, let's say like midday, you do like a day in review so far. You review the first half of your day. How is that? So that you don't have to actually wait till tomorrow. This is really focusing on the power of now, right now. In lunchtime, I could think it's an easy way to remember it, like by focusing on lunchtime, review like, hey, how was your morning so far? You know, and truly like figure out what were the things that went well and what are the things that you just need to get back on track on. You know, yesterday you said you're going to do so and so in the morning, but you didn't do it. Well, maybe now's the time to really get it in before the day is over, pretty much, you know. So to review your days, and ideally, and this is something I'm advising myself to do as well, to review your days midday as well, so that you actually have a chance to change the course of the day. Because I don't know about you, but like, I really feel like super good when, I mean, this is obvious, but I feel super good when the day goes great. And in the same
I'm sure
time,
it's for everybody
day,
as well, Karim. Definitely.
You know what I mean? No,
Yeah.
but like, let me say it another way. Like, sometimes I get involved in so many small like micro tasks, okay? And this does not make me feel as fulfilled as getting like one big major thing done today because it's like official. Many times we all slip into like being busy on like Slack and email and whatever, and you feel kind of productive because you replied to whatever, 30, 40 emails and 30, 40 conversations, and you feel productive because people are asking you for questions and you gave them answers or whatever, you know? It feels like micro productive, but it's actually not productive because many times this is like, you know, spread out over like the course of a day, you know, which is an absolute killer. And right now I'm really trying to hold myself accountable to actually having, you know, focusing on that power of now and only having these like instant messaging communications, dedicating an hour to that and just like getting that done like sometime towards the end of the day. I was actually doing it right before we jumped on to record the call because now it's kind of like in the end of our day. But, you know, I'm keen to hear your thoughts about that, you know, like how the power of now on working on something, one big major thing as opposed to like a lot of micro things that make you feel falsely productive.
I mean, you know, even though something I recently learned and I want to practice more is while the other person is speaking, right? Usually we all think we start drifting into thoughts. Yeah. While you were talking about it,
what you're gonna say?
Yeah. So I was also kind of drifting, but I was bringing myself back. But what you actually said, right? It actually, what I understood is, it's like you divided your day, and mid of the day is lunchtime. You're zooming out, and you're actually looking at how that day was, and it's basically you're optimizing your day. Like if I understood correctly, like making it better.
Precisely.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So. But thinking about it, definitely, I got a thought in my mind as well. One of the other things as well, you know, we know this example of taking one day at a time. For example, this is also for people who usually struggle, let's say, to plan and follow a particular plan. I think this power of now or power of today really works because you just have to look at that day or now and just decide, okay, what is that one thing that I can actually do? Or what should I actually do? Or what, you know, what is, because see, again, connecting back to some of the points I was saying, there are some days where you feel, like Karim said, you know, there are some days where even before you start working, right, you feel very good, like you're super optimistic, you feel super positive. For days like this, you should actually harness that energy. It's like that is the day, maybe, okay, the day you're feeling very good, you had like a good workout or you had like a very good discussion before coming to work, or you had this very, like not healthy, like whatever, healthy or good breakfast. Yeah. And it made you like really, you're in a very positive mood. That is the day maybe you should think, you know what, okay, how can I make the best of today? Like what can I do today? You know, maybe, so I think there are different ways to look at it, Karim. I think for me, like there, like as always, you know, the way I'm relating to this might be slightly different, even though the concept is the same. I think people who are listening to this as well might, you know, they might be having, you know, thoughts, for example, how this relates to them end of the day. Because one more point I just want to add is, so while I was having this, you know, meeting this Saturday with my accountability partner, one of the things he highlighted when he told me this is, one of the very good reasons of focusing on the now is because this really helps, it helps to calm you down. It helps to give you clarity sometimes.
Yes, definitely.
Because people get superbly overwhelmed, and we all know, we've discussed this many times. You have that assignment, you have that due date, you have that whatever. Thinking about it like 3 days, 4 days later, and getting worried about it, rather than just look at, okay, what can I do now? What can I do today which can actually make some or a massive impact for that deadline or for that target, whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I think this is one of those topics. I think this is super candid. Me and Kareem thought of discussing, but we want to actually explore this further. We would like. Is there any more thoughts, Kareem, you want to add to this?
No, man. I enjoyed listening to your thoughts on it as well. I think it gave me clarity on my own thoughts, but yeah, no, I'm keen to see what our listeners think of this and whether this is something we should explore further or any specific aspects of it.
And so let us know what you guys think, and maybe we can revisit this topic with some more context, because I'm definitely going to start thinking about it more. And let's see. So as always, guys, let us know what you think, and do share, subscribe, leave us a comment. And we will see you in the next episode. Take care, guys, and have a lovely week. That's all from me and Kareem.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.